What's up, nerds? It's your boy, a very tired OG GM on a foggy Wednesday morning here at Site B, about 8 o'clock in the morning on the 4th day of January 2023. Hello and welcome. It looks like we're about to get another round of the aerial flood here at Site B because we can't call it Stormfront anymore because I guess Stormfront is problematic. I don't know. Anyways, it's Wednesday, which means it's time to take a look at all the tabletop role-playing game product that should be on the shelves of your friendly local game store by the end of this week. But don't get mad at me if you run over there and they don't have it and you're like, but the OGGM said you had it in stock. And they're like, dude, I don't even know who that guy is. Call ahead and make sure they have the product that you want in stock. That said, let's take a look at all the products that might be on the shelves by the end of this week. Of course, top of the list, the Dragonlance thing. It should be out, right? I mean, it should have been out already for a while, though I have heard one or two people say, no, my store doesn't got it yet. So, yeah, the Dragonlance solid thingy, supposedly out. So, yeah. If your store doesn't have it, have them call Diamond or Alliance and find out why. Okay, the Blade Runner RPG starter set from Free League Publishing. This is for the Blade Runner RPG. It's a box set. It's $50. It is the starter set for the most anticipated role-playing game of 2022, Blade Runner, based, of course, upon the movie Blade Runner. This has all the dice you need to play in it, maps, handouts, crime scene photos, time tracker sheets, everything else you would need to start a Blade Runner campaign. So if you're interested in diving into cyberpunk and Blade Runner and the world of, 2022 dystopian sci-fi Los Angeles, where's my flying car? I was promised a flying car. I still want my flying car. Yeah, I mean, it was the most anticipated role-playing game of 2022. It, kicked ass in the records of sales on Kickstarter. And so, yeah, now for those of you who didn't kickstart it, here's your chance to pick up the starter set and get a whole bunch of cool stuff. From Nord Games for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, we have the Oracle Story Generator for $70. Contains 5 uniquely themed 60-card decks, including contracting, counties, epic adventures, political intrigues, relics and artifacts, and simple side quests. A new story idea is created by drawing 5 cards to form a sentence prompt consisting of actor, action, subject, intent, and development. So this is a creative writing prompt experiment. Decks of cards, you draw a card, and it's like, oh, actor, thief, action, rob, subject, subway, intent, steal a footlong, and development. Subway is guarded by Tiamat, kind of thing. Yeah, so this is $70 for things you can find free on the internet. Free on the internet. Okay, so just think about that. From the company whose name I still can't get right, Modiphius or Modiphius, we have Behind Enemy Lines, Mission Dossier number 1 for Achtung Cthulhu 2D20, $35. This is 5 adventures released following Achtung Cthulhu, including Under the Gun, Operation Vanguard, Operation Falling Crystal, The Romanian Imperative, and 7th Inning Slaughter, plus a brand new mission called Operation Eastbourne. So if you're looking for some World War II Cthulhu action using the 2D20 Cthulhu system created by Modiphius, yeah. From Palladium, for Beyond the Supernatural, we have Creature Feature. Beyond the Supernatural, wow, Kevin is just knocking them out of bringing back old titles. I mean, God, that's when did I play Beyond the Supernatural last? So it was 1983, 1984, like one of the first horror games I ever played. So if you're looking for creatures for Beyond the Supernatural, if you're still playing it, or riffs, here's a whole bunch of new stuff from Kevin for Palladium for Beyond the Supernatural. You know my feelings about Palladium. From Simon & Schuster, we have How to Defend Your Lair. This is a hardcover book for $29. Concentrates on the theater of battle instead of in randomly generated dungeons. Explains why where the fights take place is just as important as who's doing the fighting. Using real-world principles of building security and area defense to strength, blah, 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 blah. So basically, this is by the same guy who wrote The Monsters Know What They're Doing, or the DM's Guide, or the Lazy DM's Guide, and all those other things, Keith N1. And this is now, a book about how your monsters can defend their lair using real world examples. How do we defend? How does a real world defend a bank or a bike? So yeah, you can probably find this on Amazon on the same place because it's by the same guy that did The Monsters Know What They're Doing. So yeah, his stuff is usually really good, from what I hear. So yeah, pick it up. From Crucible 7, we have Doctor Who, the role-playing game starter set. This is a box set for $40. It is the original Crucible 7 Doctor Who TTRPG, not the 5e Doctors and Daleks ones that they did for 5e. So it's got a whole bunch of stuff to play the Doctor Who role-playing game. Now, I love Doctor Who. I can't wait to see David Tennant back as the 14th Doctor coming up, and we still have to wait almost a year for it, but whatever, still exciting. I play the very original Doctor Who role-playing game. The problem with is, one Doctor, multiple companions. Either the Doctor has nothing to do because the companions are running around, or the companions have nothing to do because the Doctor or the Time Lord is Deus Ex Machina. And then, of course, it introduces the idea that, well, there's tons of other Time Lords that have stolen TARDISes and are going around the multiverse being helpful with their companions. I think, a Doctor Who game would work better if it was just a group of companions and they knew the Doctor was out there somewhere and he'd left them or she'd left them to do a mission, and then they'll come back and pick them up. I mean, it's, I don't know. I mean, it's like having one character who's a 17th level wizard and everybody else's character is a 4th level thief. So I don't know how that, that was always my feeling I got when I played the original one. Maybe they've changed it. I don't know. From Goodman Games, for Dungeon Crawl Classic and Mutant Crawl Classic, we have dice sets. We have the Supernal Star Seeds RPG dice set for $14. We have the Velos Crystallized Creation RPG dice set, $14. Eldritch Ruin Fragments RPG dice, $14. Wizards Von Stellar Stowaways RPG dice, $14. And these are for Dungeon Crawl Classic and Mutant Crawl Castle, $35 for boxes of dice, including all the dice you need for Dungeon Crawl Classic. And Dungeon Crawl Classic has a lot of weird, fun dice. There's a D3, a D4, a D5, a D6, a D7, a D8, a D10, a D12, a D14, a D16, a D20, a D24, and a D30. Now, normally, you will never have a reason to roll any of those dice other in Dungeon Crawl Classic. Dungeon Crawl Classic has reasons to roll every one of those dice. So if you're looking for a bunch of weird looking dice, one look, based upon like cotton candy or dragon's breath or just bizarre colors, and you want a D30 and you think that's the kind of money you want to spend on dice, I mean, basically you're just spending for the weird dice. Yeah, $35. From Pinnacle, for Savage World, we have Superpowers Pawns Box Set 1. This is a box set of Pawns. It's $30, coming straight from the superhero end of Savage Worlds. It's cardboard, individually die-cut characters, front and back, where you put on those little slippy things and you put them on the ground and they look, they fill in if you don't have lead figures or plastic figures. It's got some villains, cops, robbers, some generic bad guys and good guys figures for your campaign of any superhero role-playing game, although it's specifically designed for running superheroes using Savage World because it says Pinnacle made it. But really, you could use them in any superhero role-playing game. Does it come with the little thingies, though? It doesn't say. I'm assuming it does, but I would double check. Is there a link? Doesn't say if it comes with the little plastic thingy. So if you're not familiar with the pawns, they're not like the things I showed you last week from the creature thing that Wizards of the Coast sent us. It's a little plastic thing, but usually about this big. And then you slide them into these little plastic circles that have a little divot for them to fit in. They're really cool. I believe Steve Jackson Games was one of the very first to make them way back. But yeah, they're really cool. They're easy to transport. They're, way more versatile than actual figures because the easiness to transport. And if you lose one, it's like, oh no, I lost a 5-cent piece of cardboard as opposed to losing a $30 figure that you spent 17 hours painting. So yeah, is $30 maybe a lot? It would depend upon how many you get. It says 140 total. So plus the box, it's a little pricey, but still, I think, considering the average price for a single figure is $9 to $15, it's reasonable, and they're great prop. So if I was going to recommend anything this week, it would be Blade Runner and these pawns. If you play superhero role-playing games, these pawns would be really good. Blade Runner, just because I love Blade Runner, and 2022 was the sort of year of cyberpunk for some reason. So yeah, if any of these titles that I just read off sound like something you want to pick up, call ahead to your friendly local game store and ask them if they have it in stock. And tell them the OGGM sent you, in which point they will say, I don't know who that is. And then get them to subscribe to my blog. Remember, subscribe to my blog here. Help support me in the YouTube adventures and help me reach 1 billion subs by the end of 2023. I mean, yes, that's impossible, but it's a good goal, right? I mean, if you're going to dream big. Also, I would love it if you guys could take a couple extra seconds to support me. Pick up my merch, links down below in the OGGM shop. Check out my new publications over at Big Geek Emporium, or buy some of my stickers. Nothing says awesome like stickers. Till next time, see ya.